Hello there, my name is Tom. I'm the Director of Youth Services for the Nottingham Diocese. I'm based up at the Briars and I'm very excited to be speaking to you guys today. It's a real privilege to be part of your feast day and to speak to all of the Trust, because moments like this where we come together and recognise what's important, well, they're the most important moments of all. I think about what we've done from here, from this studio, maybe not quite this studio, but some of the places around here. We've had live events and live masses and diocesan things that we've done online. Those moments where we've been together, I felt, have been some of the most important ones and the most kind of special memories I'm going to have over the last 2 years. There's been challenges. There's been real hardships. But what's kept me going, certainly, is those moments of connection. And I hope today can be that as well. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about, I suppose, how we live our lives, our habits, maybe thinking a bit about virtues, because that's a really important thing to do at the moment. But especially, we're going to think about our world, our environment, the incredible gift of creation that we have, and how what we do affects that. About how the way we live our lives affects other people's lives. And I think in doing so, hopefully today, it can not just be a single moment where we come together, but the start of lots of moments where we come together to not just help each other, but help our world. To not just change who we are, but to change what we're doing and change how our planet is for the better. It's going to be, I hope, a chance for us to reflect on all of our call to look after the incredible gift of creation that we've been given. And that's what we're going to do in the next kind of 10 minutes. We're going to finish with a bit of a mission for you guys, because again, it's not just about this moment, but all the moments that come. And I want you to kind of think in the back of your head right now, as we start to talk about some of these things, what it is that you do regularly. And what I mean by that is kind of what habits do you have? I don't mean things like biting your nails or kind of tapping your feet or chewing on your pen lid, okay? Because they're all habits, they're things that we do. But I'm talking about the things that we do every single day. I was thinking about preparing for this talk and thinking about what we could think about today, and I was thinking, how do I live my life every day? What are the kind of normal stuff I do? I get up, I kind of have a coffee. I used to have a coffee every morning. I'm a big fan of my coffee. What else do I do? Well, usually I drive to work. When I get to work, I see all my friends, I see the people I work with. I tend to try and steal some food from the kitchen at a regular basis when I'm at the Briars, because there's so much good food there. I'm on my phone a lot. I definitely am on my phone a lot. And it got me thinking of all these little moments in my day. All these little opportunities I have to think about the way in which I live my life, and to see, I suppose, whether or not I could live my life in a way that makes other people's lives better too. Now, that kind of got me thinking then of something that I used to be kind of really heavily involved in, and certainly I'm still involved with now, but it got me thinking about the work of CAFOD. I used to work for CAFOD a long time ago. I used to be an outreach worker for them, doing sessions and kind of inputs for them. And one of the big things I used to talk about was the things we buy and the things we use, particularly about things like fair trade. I'm a massive supporter of fair trade and kind of ethical production of stuff. I think it's really important. One of the things I loved was that you could do the stuff that you normally do, but in a way that helped. And by that I mean, I like eating chocolate. Chocolate is good. But if you have fair trade chocolate, well, you still get the chocolate, that's good, but the people on the other end actually get a fair price, and that premium that's attached to fair trade products allows them to invest in their families, in their schools, in their education, in their communities. I still get chocolate, but they get a better chance. Now, for me, that sounds like a good deal. I can do what I want to do and do the nice things in life, but that by doing them in a certain way and with a certain mindset, I can actually help other people too. And then that got me thinking, well, what about my other habits? What do I already, not just the things I eat and drink and wear, but actually what about the things that I do every day? Could I do them in a way that helped other people, that helped our world, that made a difference? Could my life bring life? And you know what? It reminded me of an amazing piece of scripture. St. James, one of my favourite books, favourite authors, favourite books in the Bible, letter of St. James, right near the back after kind of Paul's letters. He talks a lot about what we should be doing with our faith, and specifically doing with our faith. There's a lovely line, and it's pretty tough, where he basically says, look, what good is it if someone's hungry or someone's suffering to say, oh yeah, no, that's awful, yeah, no, I'll think about you, I'll pray for you. I mean, praying for people is really important, really important. But what St. James says, that prayer needs to lead to action as well. That faith without works is dead. Now, that's pretty heavy language. But I kind of get it. I kind of see what St. James was trying to say, that actually, if we believe in our faith, if we kind of really kind of get on board with it, and don't get me wrong, I know all of you guys may be at different parts with the faith journey and kind of have different understandings, but if we really believe that our schools, our communities are part of something bigger, then how can we not do something with that? If we say that these values, these virtues, and that's sometimes a word that we hear, are important, how can that not make us do stuff? So what James was saying is, pray for these people, think about these people, and then feed these people, and then clothe these people, and then do something. That one is actually inseparable from the other. That if that's the way we feel, that's the way we think, that's what we believe, that we can't then separate that from what we do. So then, what does that mean for us? Well, I suppose certainly over the lockdown and over the last couple of years, what we do became very obvious, as in because we were just doing the same things every day in our houses and stuff, and it really made you reflect on the things that you like to do, and that certainly made me miss certain things and miss certain people and miss doing certain events and that kind of stuff, and it did make me think about what is really important for me to do. But I suppose what we're called to do today is to look at that through a different lens. We're called to look at what we do and think about how can we do it in a way for others, that serves others, that brings life to others. And that's what our mission's going to be. That's just, spoiler alert, that's what we're going to be thinking about. How can we change our habits or change the way we do the things we do every day to make a difference? So, let's think from the top. I'm going to go right back to the top there. What did I say? When I get up, that's really important. And actually, do you know what I do when I get up? I go on my phone usually. That's not cool. I'm not advising that, but I do. I just check the news and I'm scrolling through Instagram or whatever. We kind of all do it, don't we, some of us? But I wonder if I could start that day in prayer, in thought for other people rather than thought for myself, or in thought for whatever seems to be important on social media. Could I start by clicking on the CAFOD Instagram rather than some of the other people that I follow and looking at what they're saying? Could I start by learning a bit more about our world? Could I start my day by thinking of others? Well, probably. And actually, maybe that would be a good habit to get into. What do I do next? I have coffee. Every morning, I have a coffee. I got very into coffee over lockdown, proper into grinding the beans and doing all the stamping bits and pressured water and stuff like that. Very exciting. But of course, one of the things that was really important to me, and maybe this is because of my CAFOD days, was all that coffee had to be ethically sourced, fairly traded. That stuff's really important. So I do enjoy my coffee, I think, a little bit more because I know that the people who've made it are getting a fair deal and are actually benefiting from me buying it. Now, that's hard sometimes because you have to make a conscious decision to buy those products and live that way and do those things. But again, before I even have breakfast, there's two things that you can do for other people. Now, what do I do next? I drive to work. Now, at the moment, I live 20 miles away from where I work. So I very much admire the people that could get on a bike and drive that far and ride that far. I'm probably not one of them, maybe yet. But then I think, actually, now, do I need to drive to work every day? Could I work from home one day and save the petrol? Still do my work, but not actually leave the house, and so I'm not actually increasing my carbon footprint. Could I, on days where I'm working with colleagues or I'm working in Nottingham, share a lift or share a ride? Those kind of things you kind of think, well, I've got to get to work, but how can me even going to work make a difference? What I'm trying to say is, I think today is a great chance to stop and think about the way you live your life day by day. And I'm not talking about the big stuff. You know, some of the things you'll hear about today, and certainly when you look at your Trust Eco Roadmap, which is amazing, by the way, you'll see that actually they're all little things. It's all about the little things, the day-to-day things, the everyday things, that when you multiply that by millions and millions and millions of people, that's what changes the world. We talk about kind of the big events we had, like COP26, massive event. A lot of people did a lot of talking, which was good, and some stuff was good, and some stuff maybe wasn't so good in terms of what we committed to or didn't commit to. But it's not what they were chatting about. It's not the chat themselves that they had up in Scotland that's going to make the difference. It's how every single one of us allow that to affect what we do in our lives. It's about all the little things, all the little habits, how we live out those virtues that make a difference. You know, a virtue, to kind of really absorb or kind of live it out. It's about repeating it and doing it again and again so we learn and it becomes part of who we are. And when we learn and think about being patient or being kind or finding joy, or those kind of things we have to do again and again and again for them to kind of sink in and be what we need them to be, which is part of who we are. And so that's why every single day there's an opportunity to do something for others. Now, for you guys today, I know one of the things we're doing because we're not able to be together physically is we're kind of giving little missions and little tasks is I want you to think about a day, a normal day, not a special day, not a big day, and not to think about something big or crazy or difficult, but to think instead about something ordinary that you can not just do tomorrow, but do the day after and the day after and the day after. What habit, what change could you make to the way you live your life every day that will make a difference to someone else's life? That's your challenge, that's your mission, that's your question. And what I'd love you to do, if you're able to, if you've got like planners or diaries or even just post-it notes, is I want you to write and kind of think about this. I want you to write on next week's day or next week's entry or next week's page or whatever, just a reminder to yourself to think about whether or not you've figured out what it is you're going to do yet. Because I know what happens. We go on these days, they're brilliant. People will chat about stuff, there's videos and everyone's watching stuff and it's all great. You think, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to save the world. I'm going to go home and I'm going to change my life and it's going to make everything better. And then you'll go home and you'll have tea and you'll put the TV on and you'll go to sleep and you'll wake up and life will carry on, and then we forget to do these things. So, whilst thinking about what's the one habit a day that you're going to change to make a difference to someone else's life, I also want you to put a note to yourself somewhere. You could even put like a scheduled email. If you're feeling super fancy, you could put a post-it on the fridge, or if you can, and certainly if you've got one, like a planner or a diary for school. Next week, put a question to yourself saying, what have I decided to change? I mean, one of the things you could do, you could put it on a bit of paper, stick it in your pocket, stick it in your wallet, stick it in your pencil case, stick it in your reading book, put it somewhere that you're going to find it in a few days' time, and make sure on it says that question, what have I decided to change? And then, well, hold yourself to account. You know, one of the things we talk about, particularly with COP26, is a lot of things were said, but is the stuff actually going to be done? Well, same's for us. I think today all of us are going to say we think our environment's important, that our world is important. I think all of us are going to say that we want to make the world a better place, that we want to look after people. We're all going to say that, but what are we going to do about it? You know, St. James said, what's our faith if it doesn't actually make us do something as well? So what is it for you? And you might be having, and in fact, what would be really nice after you've kind of watched this and when you get a bit of time, have a talk to people. Get thinking about those little things. Because it is as simple as the food we eat, the clothes we wear, the route we take to school, switching off the light, not using that electricity, or actually maybe even just equipping our minds, finding out about the current CAFOD campaigns, learning about the issues in our world, making ourselves more informed citizens so we can make more informed choices. These are the kind of things you can do. These are the changes you can make. And do you know what? The effect changes the world. It's going to be, and is, I know, a wonderful day today, focused and rooted in that real desire to do something for the people around us. But that starts with us. And you know what? And I think that was the thing for me when I got into kind of working with CAFOD and got into working with doing the youth work kind of thing. I've realised that actually I've got a responsibility, I've got a duty, and actually it is down to me and everyone else, but it is down to me, and I need to look first here before I can look out there. It's so easy to go, oh, well, they should be doing this, these guys should be doing that. The first place we look is in the mirror. And do you know what? I think I'm trying to think about my day now and the things that I do. I think I could spend a bit more time in prayer, really focusing my mind. I think I could make sure that I'm not driving when I don't need to be, that I'm walking when I can do as the weather's getting better, you know, kind of doing more stuff without having to rely on my car. We've all learned how to use Zoom meetings and stuff like that. Do we really need to drive to a place whereas actually we can reduce the carbon impact and still meet just as effectively? All those little things I'm challenging myself to think about every day, and that's my challenge for you. What change can you make to your everyday life to bring life to other people? And don't forget, if you put that in your planner or in your diaries for this time next week or in a week's time, and challenge yourself to have thought of it by then, and then of course to implement it and to actually do it, you're going to make such a difference. You know, one of the blessings of working with CAFOD is you got to see the CAFOD partners and meet people and talk to people. And I was in some amazing talks and sessions where people would come over and say, do you know, because you did this, my community has this, or my family has this. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And we can feel good about that as well. Like, I think a lot of times we look at like the world and climate change and we can just go, oh man, it's all just too big and too miserable and too like just there's nothing to be optimistic or hopeful about. And I'm fortunate. I get to meet young people every day. I'm at the Briars, I'm in schools, and I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic because I get to see you guys every day. I get to see what you're capable of, what you're able to speak out about, what means and matters something to you. And that gives me hope. And I know that all these little things that we're going to continue to do, and all these little habits that we can change and make our own, will continue to bring hope, build hope, give hope to those people who need it the most. And that is my call to you. That is our mission today, and that is what we're going to ask you to do. It has been an absolute joy having time to spend and talk to you guys today. I would love if you on the social medias, on your websites, on your blogs, to kind of share some of the habits and some of the things you're going to change. Maybe even if you're being super clever, pick out what virtues they are helping you learn and kind of embed and kind of live out, because you'll find that when you start doing things for other people, that's when those virtues come to life. So have a think about that. But please make sure that we kind of ask ourselves that question, that we're brave enough to listen to the answer, and that we can make a change to our life that brings life to other people. Thank you very much. I will keep you always in my prayers and just give thanks all the time for the amazing hope and the amazing witness that all of you do and all of you give by living out your faith. Let's pray that we can all progress along that eco roadmap, not just so we can tick a box or get a green mark or any of that kind of stuff, but that we actually put our faith into action, that we save lives, that we make a difference. And let's just pray that we know and have the courage to realise that starts with us. Thank you very much. I look forward, hopefully, to seeing you guys soon. Bye-bye.